and I'm sorry, I forgot, I'm not live on Shorts yet. People that have already been shit talking this show, hating on this show, are probably going to be even more so frustrated with this show um, after this week. Because this was an interesting episode. And this was the very first time that I found myself asking, what exactly is happening here? Right? But the more I thought about it, see, I knew it. I knew I just messed myself up with this stupid stream deck. Give me a moment. But after I allowed myself some time to really think about it, sit down and think about what we just saw, and just think about all the little things that are happening in this series so far, I think I'm slowly getting an idea of what's slowly happening, what's being hinted at here. And this show may actually be a little bit more complex than I originally thought it would be. Maybe. On the other hand, it could be a complete disaster and a complete shit show. You know what? I'm in for the ride. I'm all for it. So yeah, we're going to be talking about all of this stuff this morning. Not expecting it to be a long stream, but obviously it's going to be all Star Wars talk here. So if you're not into Star Wars, you're absolutely in the wrong place right now. What's going on, Suck? Suck is already here in the chat saying, what's up? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good day. Hope you're enjoying your evening over there. So yeah. So obviously I'm curious who saw this episode, who had a chance to watch it. We are now officially halfway through the season. I can't believe it's already been 4 weeks for this show. There's going to be a total of 8 episodes. And I put a poll on the channel asking everyone what are they feeling, what are their thoughts on this series so far, at least those who are watching it, right? So I'm very, very curious what everyone's feeling and thinking about this show so far. My initial thoughts on it, not the show itself, but the reactions from people, I have a strong feeling that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to say that they don't like this show after this week, especially after this week. So yeah, so I can't wait to really talk about it and discuss all of those things. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's do some phone checking music. Just trying to set something up here. I'm checking the phone, doing stuff. All right, I think I'm done. All right, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's Wednesday. The week is halfway done. It's been a busy week. It's going to be hot here this week. I'm not looking forward to that. I think today, now I only know Fahrenheit. I know we're Americans. We hate the metric system for whatever reason. But it's 87 degrees Fahrenheit today, or it's going to be. And it's going to be scorcherous this whole week. Just to give you guys an idea of what I'm going to be dealing with here. And I'm sure like people are just like, oh, when you're complaining about the weather. What's wrong with you? I hate hot weather, and I hate when it's humid. So that's why I'm going to bitch about it for a bit. So today is going to go as high as 89 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be 90 degrees. The Friday is going to be 93 degrees. Saturday is going to be 86. Sunday is going to be 89. And then we're going to go into the next week with 88, 88, 90, 93, 86. So we're about to approach this crazy heat wave here. And it's going to suck big time. And here, I'll do the conversion for the rest of the world So today in Celsius, it's going to get as high as 32 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be 32. Friday's going to be 34. Then we're looking at 30, 32, 31, 31, 32, 34. So this is what we're going to be dealing with for the next week. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one bit. In Germany, it's very cold for June. So what's cold in Germany? Because I've experienced cold in Germany. Because, you know, I spent New Year's there. So obviously it's January. So sucks. Yeah, it's going to be crap. I'm not looking forward to it at all for this week and through next week. It's going to be torturous for me. But hey, that's one of the things. I mean, New York is great for a lot of things. If you're not a fan of extreme humidity, then yeah, New York sucks. I would recommend not visiting New York during the summer because you're gonna hate it. Avoid New York as much as possible in the summer. It's like 18 degrees Celsius. Let me do my math. Let's see here. And when I say do math, I'm going to ask Google to do the math for me. So that is 64. I would love it to be that now. My sweet range, I guess to put it in Celsius terms, would be like 18 to 20, right? That's like my sweet range, my sweet spot as far as weather is concerned. Let's see here. I would even say go as high as maybe 22, 23. Like that would be like my sweet spot for me. But yeah, that is not the case here in New York for this time of year. It's very rainy. That could also be depressing too if it's raining all the time. I can see how that could be like really annoying. And yeah. So hopefully, because I know like if you lived in Seattle here, it rains a lot. I know it rains a lot in London, right? In England. So I'm going to drink some water. I got two forms of liquid going on right now. I got my water and I got my coffee. My nice iced coffee. All right, so let's get into our conversation here. So like what I do every week, I'm going to give my initial thoughts on this episode, spoiler free. I'll give my little review. And then we'll go into a full open discussion where I recap the entire episode and we could talk more freely about every little bit that's happening. Let the speculations roll and let everything fly after that. All right. So as always, I ask the chat to not give out any spoilers just yet. Wait until you see the spoiler sign on the screen there, and then we could freely talk about things. Also, and if you're watching live through vertical or through horizontal formats, through both formats or any formats, please don't forget to hit that like button. Would greatly appreciate it. You would make this face extremely happy, and I'll have a wonderful rest of my day here. So just putting that out there. All right. Episode 4 of The Acolyte. So things are picking up from the previous episode, right? So the previous episode basically was just a flashback episode. So it was an episode to let us understand exactly what the event was that caused this rift between the Jedi and May, right? And why May is on her revenge mission. The whole Osha situation, learning that they are sisters. At least that is what we are to believe. I know there's a crazy fan theory out there that does sound more and more intriguing as we watch this episode we're currently in right now. You know, so now this episode brings us back to current time. The Jedi are still on the hunt for May. They're still trying to track her down, and now they're heading to the planet of I forgot the planet's name right now, but they're looking for Master Kanaka. I believe that is the Wookiee Jedi's name in this show. Give me a second. I'm just pulling up because I am so bad with names. Obviously, if you've watched my little review of Game of Thrones, you'll know how much I suck at names and remembering names because there's just a lot of names to remember. So I just want to make sure that I have everything that I need here. Sorry. Sorry. Kelnaka. Sorry, that's the Wookiee Jedi's name. So they're going to his planet, where Kelnaka, where we saw at the end of episode, I believe it was episode 2, where we saw him kind of residing on this planet in hiding, or at least he's retired. And it's interesting, after this episode, this was the first time where I felt the need that I had to basically do research to get a better understanding on certain things. So I'll unveil some of my research, and it's very open out there. Obviously, there are a ton of YouTube videos who do deep dives and breakdowns and all that stuff. If you're looking for like extensive knowledge breakdown, this is not the place for you. This is for like us common Star Wars folk fans who just will have a chance to talk about this episode and this series and Star Wars in general and all that. But we basically get on this planet, May and her companion there, by the name of, he goes by Quimir, right? We saw them working together. They're basically, like a deal. They're both working for this master of theirs. And May, this Jedi Kelnaka, is on May's list, on her revenge list of Jedi she's trying to take down, along with Master Soul, who are the two remaining Jedi left on this kill list of hers, right? And of course, we already learned that there are certain criteria that she has to go about to take this certain Jedi down. And the major criteria is she's not allowed to use any weapons, right? So she's supposed to just take this Jedi down without sans weapons, right? So they go on this planet. May and Quimir get there ahead of time. The Jedi with Master Soul is asked to go to this planet to get this Jedi, put him into seclusion, and hopefully lure May so that they could capture May as well, right? That's the gist of this whole episode here. And we go on this adventure. The episode was only like 35 minutes long, much shorter than the last 3 episodes that we got. So it did feel like it kind of went by like this, right? And again, without going into deep spoilers, there's conflict, something happens, and this is the one episode, and I'm not spoiling this either because, I believe there were teaser trailers that alluded to this. This is the episode where we finally see the Sith Master show up for the first time. Now, you notice I paused there for a minute because I do feel like there's something more to what we saw here. So this Master revealed himself to the Jedi, and there's going to be a major conflict and confrontation. You have both May and Osha there, and it's going to be craziness, right? And basically this episode ended on a cliffhanger where the reveal happened. They see this being for the first time, and they're all wondering what's going on, right? They tried to attack, and they got force pushed the hell out of there. And basically the episode ends, cut to black, boom, that's it. So we don't know what's going to happen next. So this is what I like to call the cock tease episode. This episode was a major cock tease because it was build up, and literally the last 5 minutes of the episode is where all the big stuff happens. And now you're finally getting yourself into it, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, this is happening? That's about to happen? Whoa, there he is. Oh no, what's going to happen next? What? End of episode. So it's like you build up, build up, build up, and you're left with blue balls at the end of the day, right? We've seen that a lot. That happens on a lot of shows, right? And it's interesting that now it makes perfect sense why critics and reviewers were given the first 4 episodes to look at and review and comment on, because that's basically the initial arc that we're going through, right? Halfway through the season is the build up, build up, build up, and then finally the big reveal of who this bad guy is, right? Who this master is, this Sith master, if we are to call him that. And I think, again, for the most part, I still find myself entertained, right? Intrigued, curious. I wouldn't have done research afterwards if I wasn't curious enough about what I just saw on this episode. But I did feel like this episode was very mediocre because not a lot happened. It's a lot of setup, a lot of buildup. And it kind of questioned me, or I finally questioned the show and myself as to what exactly is happening. What am I watching here? You know, what is the purpose of all of this, right? Or what is the show trying to tell us? And I think that's basically what led me to do additional research afterwards. So if I were to rate this on a Letterboxd scale, I would have given this episode a 3 out of 5 stars. We got introduced to this new guy right here, who is probably now currently one of my favorite Star Wars characters. You know, a little like ratty gopher looking thing that helps them track down May or track down where they're going. So I thought, you know, this guy was pretty neat. I love that it's practical too. With the exclusion of like his facial animation, I do feel like some of that is digital. Guy in a suit, whether it's a kid or it's, you know, a little person, it's practical. And I loved it because it worked and it felt real. It felt natural. I felt like this person or this creature could really, truly exist. So it is one of my latest favorite Star Wars characters that was introduced on the show. I like it even more so than that little robot thing that Osha has. So this should have been, honestly, if you were to ask me, I feel like this particular episode is like a part 1 of 2 or something like that. This should have been combined with another episode, in my opinion, because to leave people hanging like that is kind of messed up, especially since it's such a shorter episode than the previous ones. But what's going on, Joe? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in and joining in. We're talking about Star Wars: The Acolyte Episode 4, so if you're interested in that. So, I don't know what you're referring to there. So, maybe you could help explain. But thank you for the comment. But yeah, so it felt weird watching this episode, or it just felt weird at the end of it, because it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, wait, I kind of want to see more. I wish it didn't end that way. It's a perfect cliffhanger. Could you imagine if this was actual network television? And we've seen them do this on network TV all the time, where you would approach like the middle of a season. And usually what happens on network television, at least back in the day, is that whenever we were mid-season, you would have a mid-season break. So could you imagine if this series was on network TV and we had an episode like this that ended so abruptly, then that would need a break afterwards, right? Network television is just how they set it up. All of a sudden you would have a break of like a week or two. Sometimes even like they'll break through the summer, and then you'll come back, and you're basically left wondering what the hell did just happen? What's going on here, right? So that would really suck. All right, Joe, I think you're just being silly right now. So if you don't know what you need to do for that, then you definitely need some medical help. But thanks for your contributions. What's going on, clones? Clones for life. Clone Wars for life, I should say, is in the house. Just coming back from his tournament over the weekend. By the way, how is the connection, guys? I know yesterday YouTube's been going through some shit lately. Um, what was it? So today's Wednesday. So Monday, basically, Monday nobody could chat. There was issues with the chat, right? Yesterday there seems to have been issues with the stream itself, or however it is. So I'm wondering how it is today, for sure. Joe, you must be confusing me with yourself because, as far as I recall, smells cannot transfer over technology just yet, unless you have smell-o-vision. And if you do, let me know where you got it because I'm curious in getting something like that myself. It's good today? Okay. That's good to hear. How are you doing today? Are you fully recuperated or recovered from your tournament weekend? Well, you said you're getting ready for another tournament coming soon, right? Arnold's in the house. What's going on, Arnold? Always appreciate you stopping by. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Obviously, it's Wednesday, so we're talking about Star Wars: The Acolyte Episode 4. We're currently in non-spoiler talk just yet. I just gave my quick review of the episode and kind of talking about it right now. So let me know your thoughts. Non-spoilers for now. Clones is a bit sore. I would assume that would be the case. I could only imagine how that would feel like. But hopefully you'll recover enough in time to get ready and prepared for your next tournament. All right, Joe, you just earned yourself a complete ban, so good job. Everyone say goodbye to Joe. It was nice of Joe to join us and act like an idiot. Everything's fine. Just okay. Arnold just finished the episode. So what did you think? Arnold found today's episode quite okay. The best thing for me was the end. Yeah, I was kind of alluding to that too. It's just like this is what I call the cock tease episode. It's a very much of a cock tease of an episode where you had so much build up, and literally all the stuff happens in the last 5 minutes, right? And then to end so abruptly after that, you're left with blue balls afterwards. And it sucks. So, well, it sucks, but at the same time, I get it. It's a nice cliffhanger to kind of end on. It sucks that it was a shorter episode. So I'm hoping that a lot of stuff will be cleared away in the next episode. And the next episode, I am hoping, should be like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Edgar, you can ask a question as long as it's relevant. Is it relevant to the conversation, to the topic? Because if it's not, then I probably won't answer it. Arnold would have liked to see more. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I was kind of explaining how, like, back in the day, if this was like network television, this is a kind of mid-season cliffhanger they will put you in. Then they'll take a break for like a month before they come back, and basically leaving the audience wondering what the hell just happened. And if that happened on network television, the same way it happened here, it would be a complete disaster. All right, so I'm getting a lot of, yeah, okay. So the one funny thing about shorts everyone who well, not everyone, but you do get a lot of morons. So good job, moron. Hey, everyone say goodbye to Edgar. Bye, Edgar. You're the best. I think every time something like that happens, we should just all say goodbye to them. And I'm sure they'll love it. Clones is watching it right now, so hopefully he'll finish before spoilers. So yeah, I think it's a shorter episode, so it's a good chance that that would be the case. But if not, you could. Oh well, I always warn whenever we're about to hit it. So when we're about to hit spoiler conversation, that's maybe that will be a time for you to mute or something like that. Arnold, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate that. Really, really, really totally appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's awesome of you. So yeah, so I think the overall consensus here is okay episode, kind of left us wanting more, but didn't like where it kind of left us at the same time. I feel like that's the overall thoughts. What's going on, Skywalker? Ooh, we have a royalty. We have Star Wars royalty in the house, everybody. We have Skywalker. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Obviously, we're talking Star Wars The Acolyte. So if you had a chance to watch the most recent episode, then this is the place for you. No spoilers just yet. Just would love to know everyone's overall thoughts and feelings on the episode so far. And one thing I did mention was this was the first time after this episode it actually led me to actually do research. So yeah. So I did learn some stuff, interesting stuff, that actually made me appreciate this episode just a little bit more. But does that mean that this is a show that is not strong enough to stand on its own? But if you knew outside stuff to enhance it, is that a problem for general audiences? And I think that could be the case, really, for a lot of people. Because I'm learning more and more that, the more you know about the lore, the more, and I'm talking about like the High Republic stuff. The more you know about the High Republic stuff, the more you can appreciate this type of show. And apparently there's a lot of callbacks to this comic book, Vader. There's a Darth Vader comic book. And apparently there's a lot of callbacks to that comic book, at least what was revealed on that comic books. Skywalker, I heard you do too. Possibly out of your mouth if you're going to be like that. What's going on? Northern Lights, don't mind your name. Okay. Do you find that the particular person is portrayed too overpowered? If you're talking about the big Sith guy at the end, I think there's something going on there. Ladies and gentlemen, Skywalker, or General Skywalker, has started pooping. Let's all congratulate him. Let's all encourage him so that he could have a very smooth bowel movement. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if he is overpowered per se. He's definitely really strong in the Force from what we saw in this episode. But there's definitely something more going on here. And I'm not going to say anything else because I know um, Clone Wars for Life is still watching the episode as we speak here. So Arnold didn't find that normal way too strong. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can see that. I see what you mean by that. I think, and I've basically mentioned this before, where I feel that we're gonna learn a lot of different things here about the Jedi's, right? And I think the Jedi's are in a place or in a state of mind where they are so blind to what the possibility is that's happening outside. They think they're the only ones. They think they're properly policing the universe for the Galactic Republic, or they're working alongside with them. And I think they're getting caught off guard with everything that's happening here. And there's obviously a big reveal that's happening, and I think it's going to change the way they look at stuff. All right, everybody. Join me in wishing General Skywalker goodbye. Goodbye, Skywalker. You're just being really, like, come on. Spend your time somewhere else. Read a book. It's so funny. I just crack up. It's just the funniest thing. It's the internet, right? By the way, everybody, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button when you have a chance. I would greatly appreciate it. For every like button, we are hopefully getting less morons on this stream. I don't know what's going on today. Maybe there's a full moon. Maybe there's a full moon out there. Is it full moon? Let me look it up. Moon phases. Let's do this. Current moon phase. Today's moon phase. Oh, you know what? We're getting close to a full moon, so maybe that's why they're coming out of the woodworks right now. According to this, we are what they're calling waxing gibbous, 93% illumination. So we're getting very close to a full moon. We should be hitting full moon status on June 21st. That could explain everything. I think everyone's slowly coming out. They're feeling it. Clone Wars, well, we have 4, and we had 4 morons. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I like this shirt too. You know, it's very cute. It's good old Annie. This is pod racing. I like this shirt. Thank you. What's up, Newen? Newen is joining. Welcome aboard. I think the Acolyte should be a journey of an Acolyte becomes a Sith rather than a redeemed to light, or a young Palpatine's road becoming a Sith Lord. Okay. So what are your thoughts of currently what you're seeing now? You know, because obviously we're starting to get the beginning of the big reveal here, right? We're approaching that. So I'm curious what your thoughts on the show so far. And I'm just waiting for additional comments. I like that song. What was it, the Smiths? Please, 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 let me get what I want this time. Do 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 do. So thank you for reminding me about that song. I love that song. Arnold's asking what my lightsaber color would be. Um, let's see. I kind of like orange. So when I play like Jedi Survivor, or was it Fallen Order, and you know when you get to that moment in the show where in the game, I should say, when you're building your lightsaber and you can kind of change the colors and all that, I always find myself choosing orange because it's different. I like how different it is. But if I were to default to like the regular colors, I would say blue. Blue has always been my favorite. What about you? Everyone else in the chat, what color would your lightsaber be? On you, and don't apologize for your English. I'm just happy you're joining the conversation. So don't ever apologize about your English. We're here to communicate and just work together on this stuff. They feel Newen feels that the reveal was too quick and not much of a surprise. So Newen, I'll answer that question in a little bit because I just don't want to give too many spoilers just now. Like in 5 minutes, we'll go into spoiler territory, and I'll answer that question. Clone Wars for life, personally, white or yellow? Nice. Oh, white is good too. I always forget that white is an option. Currently, Ahsoka is the only one that has a white lightsaber. Arnold would love to have the Mandalorian Darksaber. That's not a bad one to have. What's going on, Ray? But Arnold, you do know that in order for you to acquire that, you would probably have to win it in battle. So are you ready to fight Bo-Katan for it? Do you feel like you can stand up and claim it from Bo-Katan herself? Ray, since you're just joining the conversation, we're talking about the latest episode of The Acolyte. So if you saw the episode, let us know your non-spoiler thoughts about it right now. What's going on, Tommy? Always so happy to see you join in on the conversation and join in on the stream. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Clone Wars for life. The only problem with the Darksaber is if it doesn't think you're worthy, then it gets heavier with every swing as shown. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Ewan, when watching episode 4, you're in love with Basil? Yeah, this guy is great. This is like my favorite new Star Wars character. Seriously. Seriously. And I love that he's so practical too. So practical. Arnold says he would defeat Bo-Katan in a nice date. I would agree with that. You have yet to Tommy has yet to watch the episode. All right. Hopefully we won't spoil anything for you today, Tommy. I'm doing well. As you can see, this chat has been really, really exciting. Everybody, say goodbye to Ray. Bye, Ray. It's funny how they come in, right? This is the funniest thing. It's funny when they do this all the time. They try to bait you, right? They come in and they're like, "Oh, cool, you guys are talking about Star Wars. Hey, by the way, can I have your underwear?" It's hilarious. It's just the funniest thing. You know what I think it is too? I think more so here in the States, school is out, right? So I think more and more kids are now online and on YouTube. And I think they obviously have nothing better to do when they're done with their Minecraft or Roblox. They're just going to go on and make stupid comments on people. Yeah, we need one more to make it even. I'm like you. I feel like everything needs to be even. I hate odd numbers. Yes, clones. Thank you for the reminder. Everyone, make sure to hit that like button. The more likes we get, the less likely we'll get people like Ray. Nice going, Ray. Way to go, Ray. Little Ghostbusters. Oh, you don't have to thank me for that comment, man. I saw your video about your tattoo, and I really honestly thought it was awesome. I love how it turned out. How long did it? I'm curious. How long did it take you to complete it? Because that looks very like a complicated, very complicated tattoo you got. Also, again, for everyone who is just tuning in, we are talking about Star Wars, specifically the Acolyte Episode 4. So if you had a chance to see it, let us know what you thought about the episode without any spoilers in the comments. It's been a wild day, so I'm sure we're going to get a lot of different type of comments. But I'm with Nguyen. Basil is one of the best new Star Wars characters. Clone Wars got 13 minutes left. All right. So in 13 minutes, I'm going to hit that spoiler tag, and we're going to talk freely about the episode. 9 hours. Wow. That's a long time. You did it straight? Just sitting on the chair straight? 9 hours? I think this tattoo that I have here, I don't know if it's a good way to show it on the screen. This took me like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. So I could only imagine what 9 hours is like sitting in the chair that long. Oh, I still have the moon calendar on my on my browser here. That's funny. Longer than your last relationship. Nice one, Arnold. That was funny. Real funny. So what does everyone think of this season so far? Those of you who are watching it. Because I have a feeling one of the things I said before was if last episode, meaning last week's episode, didn't turn you off on this series, this episode may turn you off. So like this episode that we just got last night may be the point where people are going to start dropping off. Clone Wars for Life, not a huge fan so far. See, exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm curious how he's going to feel once he's done with this current episode. And I feel like that's going to happen to a lot of people. We're going to start seeing a lot of that happen. Uh-oh, Newen saying Jackie made his heart beat episode 4. Someone has a crush. Arnold saying, I think it's good, but the new episode wasn't really mine. Tommy, oh my god, was it another bad paced episode? Yeah, it was. So I'll put it to you this way. It was much shorter than the previous episode. 34 minutes, and 30 of those minutes was build up. Just a lot of build up. We got the crux of everything in the last 5 minutes. And then it ended on a cliffhanger. And it was kind of unfortunate that it did it that way. If this was old school television, this would be the moment in the mid-season where they would go on break, and to leave your audience hanging like this would be horrendous, right? So yeah, it was unfortunate that it happened to be like that. What's going on, Whopper Jr.? I love the Whopper Jr. Crow is a good movie. I agree. I love the Crow. The original Crow. And Deadpool is also a fantastic movie. Can't wait for the next one. Tommy saying the pacing has been the biggest issue. Clone. Oh, I know where in the episode Clone Wars is. Arnold saying the same thing. Yeah. The last 5 minutes was the most interesting part of the episode. Yeah. Again, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that this should have been part of a longer episode. This should have been like tied into, I don't know, maybe they could have easily tied this into the following episode, or this should have been combined with episode 2. Whopper, if you pay me $100, you could do whatever, you could do that. Yeah. Super chat $100 right now. If not, we're gonna say goodbye to you. Clone Wars, get ready. We might have our 6th. Tell me, it's like if they can't afford to do at least 45 2-hour-long episodes for Star Wars, then just don't do it. They should make Clone Wars show because was what fans want. Yeah, that's true. A Clone Wars show would have been nice, like a live action version of it. Oh, there we go. Congratulations, Whopper. Everyone say goodbye to Whopper. Oh no, we're even right now. It just keeps happening, man. I don't understand why they do it. They look at the consequences beforehand and think about something about it. Are you referring to the way they paced the episode, Arnold? Maybe for them, they thought that this was a brilliant way to kind of pace it. You know, it's in essence, this series is like a crime mystery thriller, right? And in a way, you, the audience, are trying to solve a mystery of what exactly is happening. And we're putting all the pieces together, and we're gathering up all the information that's being thrown at us. Maybe separately, you may do additional research because not a lot of people are going to be familiar with the High Republic era and all of those things. So maybe in their minds, in this episode, it's like mysterious as to what's happening. And it forces the audience to kind of build anticipation until you get the big 5 minutes at the end of it. And then People are either going to react in a way where it's like, what? Are you serious? Or I'm sure in many people's cases, it'll be like, really? You're just going to end it like that? You know, so it's definitely going to evoke a lot of different reactions and emotions. And maybe they do that on purpose. But at the same time, that could lead to a negative effect after it all. Ewan says, I love if Star Wars makes another Clone Wars series. See, exactly what we were saying before, with only clones and their military operations against CIS, or at least with another Jedi, than just only with Annie, Snips, and Obi-Wan. What do you think? So was it last week? I think I forgot who brought it up, but somebody brought it up saying that it would have been cool if there was a Clone Wars like show where it focused on the clones and we went through like military like operations with the clones, right? I forgot who brought that up. I mean, I think that would be like a very interesting premise where you kind of make it like one of those, like, what is it? CIS shows, or, you know, NCIS or something like that. So I think if done correctly, it would be interesting. Tommy saying because the last 3 episodes did not carry weight it needed to on the mystery end. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the first 2 episodes. And the 3rd episode I thought was okay. But this one was definitely just like, oh, all right. If it doesn't pick up from here, if it doesn't really pick up from here, then there's going to be a major problem for those who are still watching the show. Arnold saying, do you know what I would like to see? A Wookiee who loses his hair. So, so you want like one of those like real life dramatic kind of shows in the Star Wars universe. And we're following like maybe the midlife crisis of a Wookiee. That means the Wookiee is probably like, I don't know, 500 years old or something like that. They're getting gray. They're starting to lose their hair. You know, maybe they're not as quick or intelligent as they used to be. They can't seem to fix this capacitor like they used to back in the day. I want someone to make a show like that now. Ewan saying, hope Dave would listen to fan wishes. Dave has been, I don't know, I think Dave, out of all the head of creative in different companies, I feel like he listens to the fans quite a bit, actually. You know, he's very open to what the fans are looking forward to, but at the same time, this is one of Dave's problems. And I love Dave Filoni. I think he's brilliant, and I think he's doing a good job with most of the stuff right now. Dave's problem is that he loves his own stuff too much. And he ends up incorporating a lot of his own stuff into other things. And that could be a problem if that continues to happen multiple times later on. You know, we already know he loves Ahsoka. We know he loves the Clone Wars. We know he loves Rebels. And, you know, The Mandalorian on its own would have been awesome. But then the minute they started incorporating elements from the Clone Wars or Rebels, then you're like, okay, so this is kind of like an extension to that. You know, but it doesn't always have to be. So I'm hoping that it doesn't become that way. Always. The budget on the series, I believe, is 150 million or 180 million. And I know that's like a big thing right now, a big narrative that's happening out there where a lot of people are saying, well, where's the money going? You know, everything looks crappy. But they are using a lot of practical effects. So that could be very much where all that is going. Let's see. Acolyte budget. 180 million. Yeah, 180 million. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I agree. I think the show does look good. This this particular episode, I'm mixed on because they did something really. So this is not spoiler talk yet. So this episode, what I love is that you could tell in certain parts they were filming in actual locations, right? They were outside. You can tell they were actually in a meadow, close to a mountaintop. You know, they were walking around, the wind is flowing. You could tell that they're not in a stage, like a sound stage. Up until they get into the forest, where now all of a sudden it looks like they're filming in a studio, right? And most of the episode was kind of like that. And you could kind of see the difference. And it took me out of it in a way. Because all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, we were just like in open nature. And then now, wow, what happened? It almost felt like a Doctor Who episode. What's going on? I'm not going to say your name because I don't like it. But thank you. Yes, I do live in New York. Thank you for liking the hat. Yeah, I think it filmed in a part of California, like a forest area in California, I think. Um, and you can kind of tell. And we saw that in The Mandalorian too, where the very first episode that Robert Rodriguez directed, which was kind of like the reintroduction to Boba Fett into the Star Wars universe, all that whole entire episode when he had to bring Grogu to that Jedi like temple thingy where Grogu had to kind of like meditate, and then all of a sudden these guys the death troopers show up trying to take him. All of that was done outside and it looked fantastic. And that's what we kind of got in this episode, where when they were kind of doing their search, you could tell that they were outside. And then all of a sudden now, boom, they're inside a studio. Good location would be Nevada. Yeah, you have a lot of desert land around the area. Arizona. I mean, California has a lot of nice scenery too. I mean, that's where they filmed. It was the redwood forest, I think it was in California, where they filmed Return of the Jedi. You know, when they were going into the Ewok village. Because the reason why I don't like your name, or at least I don't want to say it, is because it sounds like something else. It sounds like a very bad derogatory type of word that I refuse to say. So that's why. I'm not saying I don't like you. I don't even know you. I'm just saying I don't like the way your name sounds. All right, Clone Wars, where are we at? Are we free to talk spoilers at this point? Oh, that's funny. So I think Clone Wars agrees with Arnold. All dino fun. All right, y'all. I'm going to flip the switch. It's time. It's spoiler time, baby. So, Tommy, if you're still watching, I do apologize. Hopefully, if you don't want to be spoiled, this may not be the good time to continue watching. Obviously, would love to still have you here for the conversation, but if you do have to bail because we're talking spoilers, I totally agree here. All right, this guy. is getting we're getting rid of this guy because just because his name is terrible. All right. Wow, you know it's funny. I never had to do so much moderation. Okay, we're gonna say goodbye to you too because you seem to like poking the bear, and I think you're doing it on purpose. So goodbye to you as well. Now we have more ban than likes. I know. Oh my god, it's hilarious. Where are my mods? I have 2 mods and they're not here. Um but yeah, the fact that he just moved his wrist and May went flying like a rag doll. Yeah. The guy threw 5 Jedi back to Russia. All right, so let's talk about this. And I guess the perfect thing to talk about is since everything basically happened in the last 5 minutes, let's talk about the last 5 minutes, right? So I'll do my best Renee style recap of the entire episode that I can. So we're back in present time. You know, Osha is still in Coruscant. You know, everyone knows that, okay, May exists, that Osha wasn't responsible for all of these crimes. She's about to leave. She has a little conversations with Jackie, you know, and you can kind of tell Jackie has taken a liking to her because maybe they're close to the same age, or maybe she kind of looks up to her because Osha was once a Jedi and was stuck in kind of like a serious regimen of training and this and that, but she's living more of a free life, experiencing the world, and Jackie maybe kind of feels that way too. So maybe there's like an envy thing going on there. And then there's a meeting. We get to see old Jedi that we haven't seen before, like in this timeline. So what is it? Cal Mundi is in the little console room, right? The last time we saw him was in the prequels. Hold on. Is it Cal Mundi? Is that how you pronounce his name? Jedi Mundi? The guy with the long head. The very extremely long head. Yeah, Master Ki Adi Mundi. So he's part of that room, you know, talking about things, and they're like studying the way May fights, and they're saying that, you know, this is... you could tell that she was trained, but we don't think she's being trained by a Jedi because she fights with emotions and not structure. And then they mentioned something called, like, maybe it's a pocket order, something that is another pocket of maybe Jedi that are studying on their own. So the fact that they kind of bring that up makes us feel that, okay, they are aware that there are possibilities, that there are pockets out there who are studying the Force in ways that maybe they don't necessarily agree with. That's why when they approached the witches in the previous episode, they're like, hey, you're kind of breaking the law. You're not allowed to be training younglings or young people like that, right? So they're assuming all this and that, but I think they understand that they need to track May down and capture her and all that. And the idea that Saul has is like, wait a minute. I think we need Osha to capture her sister. So we're going to kind of use her as bait, right? So awesome, right? Kind of dirty. A very Qui-Gon-like action to do, which is very interesting. Hasn't that name appeared in Star Wars? He looks familiar to me. Yeah, like this Jedi, we saw him in the prequels. He showed up. He was in the Jedi console room with Yoda and Yaddle and all that. You know, he was the one that was like, oh, the Sith hasn't existed in 100 years and everything's fine. You know, all this kind of stuff like that. And in a way, he's kind of acting the same way in this episode, too. It's like, oh, you know, I don't take her seriously or whatever. So this guy is like really, really bad at predicting things. But so May and her partner, the guy, Kimir, they go to the planet where Kalnaka is. And, May understands, okay, I have to do this thing. This is one of the last Jedi on my list I have to take down outside of Saul. And I understand I have to do it with the criteria in mind. I have to kill him without a weapon. And Kimir, this whole time, is constantly reminding her, don't forget, you got to do it this way. The master said you have to do it that way. And is it just me? But I feel like they're kind of hinting at the fact that he may be the big person that was revealed at the end. And we'll get to that. So they go back and forth. They're on this planet, blah, 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 this and that. We see Kalnaka in his little hut or his like broken down spaceship that's now part of the forest. And we see those symbols there too. That was on the symbol on May's head. So why does he know that? Why is that in his head? Is he traumatized by something that happened with the witches that led to the destruction? I don't know, but he's like drawing these things on the wall. May and the Osha, Saul, and the rest of the Jedi police show up on the planet, with Yord leading the way, kind of. We get to introduce to this funny guy that I love so much, who all of a sudden becomes the tracking dog and tries to track May. They go through a soundstage forest. They see these like little bug-like creatures that turn into giant killer moths that are attracted to lightsaber light. They have a little confrontation. Then, out of nowhere, and I thought this wasn't earned. It didn't feel earned enough. May changed her mind. Like that. Where she's kind of like, yeah, I know I have to do all these things and I have to complete my training and do what the master says. By the way, I'll be right back. Sets up a trap for Kimir, for him to get caught up in it, for her to show up and say, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to turn myself in. Now that I know that Osha is alive, I want to kind of reunite with her and be with her once again. And Kimir's like, dude, like, what the fuck? I thought we were doing this together. He's going to end up killing you, right? He's going to be very angry. And she's like, well, oh well. So she runs over to where Kalnaka is, goes in there, finds out, boom, Kalnaka is dead. Oh no. Saber slash through the chest. Oh, he's here. The rest of the Jedi show up with Osha. Say, get out, leave the premises. Come out with your hands up. And we're talking about you, May. We know you're in there. And in a very horror-like scenario. This is probably one of the best scenes of this episode or of the series, where you see Osha's face looking, wondering what's happening. And behind her, very much like in Alien, like in the Alien movies, you see the Sith guy just kind of like float down and sneak up behind her. And everyone's like, what is that? She turned around, guy shows up, light ignites his saber, and shit's about to go down, right? Force pushes her out of the way. And then when you have a army of Jedi rushing at him, and one force push, it's as if a tornado flew by and threw them all into the abyss, because that's when the episode cuts to black. Did I recap everything correctly? I think that's pretty much it, right? That's all that happens in this episode. So, the big guy finally reveals himself at the end. The big Sith master, because we can't really call him Sith yet because we don't know, right? To go to Nguyen's question from before, what did I think about that Sith? Is he a real Sith Lord or just a dark Jedi? I have a feeling that this person is not the main threat of this series. But I also do feel it's obvious that this main threat may be Kimir. And Kimir was kind of doing like one of those like like very tropey, like I'm really the master, but I'm kind of hiding behind the scenes to make sure that you are making the right choices and making sure that your loyalty is tested while I watch you very closely. Very Palpatine like. You know how Palpatine's just like, oh, hello, everybody. I am part of the Senate, and we're all going to have a good time today, and we're going to make sure everything's fine. And then the minute everyone leaves the room, he's like, Anakin, what are you doing? I need your help here. I'm playing two roles. No one knows who I am. This could be another situation like that, right? And I do feel like that is possible. That's possibly what's happening here. But I do also feel like maybe this guy is also reporting to another. Rule of two, right? Where did this guy come from? There, he must have a master. So I'm thinking that there is someone else kind of pulling the strings or being the puppet. And this guy is just May's master, or the person that's testing May and all that. So I don't know. I don't think this person is a Sith Lord per se. Could just be a Dark Jedi, or whatever. And I'm sure more stuff will be revealed as the series goes on. But that's just my speculation right now. Arnold, everyone was looking forward to the Wookiee Jedi, but you saw next to nothing about him. When he came down, it looked like Harry Potter's spot where he met Voldemort in the forest. Oh, yeah, you're right. Where he met Voldemort. You're right. That's a good call. It did feel like that. But I love the way that thing was shot. It was just so... no sound. Just kind of just like floated on down like that. Great entrance. Great entrance. But yeah, it's very curious. And... the reason why I ended up doing research is because I'm like, all right, I need to know if there is an explanation of anything that's happening here. And I watched one YouTube video, just one, from Screen Rant, who kind of broke it down, revealed some of the Easter eggs and all that stuff. That's kind of how I learned where they filmed the outside scenes and all. Whoever his writers are for Screen Rant, brilliant research that they have going on over there. So he brought up the Darth Vader comic, which I've never read. And a lot of these things that they're exploring in this series was apparently written in the Darth Vader comic. And Vader had to go through very similar tests himself. Because this was like around the time when, yes, Anakin was already the Vader persona, but he wasn't fully a Sith Lord just yet, right? And he had to go through the same type of trials. Steal another Jedi's lightsaber. Kill a Jedi without any weapons. And all of that was already kind of revealed in there, the whole thing that Jedi Torben went through, where he was kind of like meditating and elevating. That was like it was like a certain ceremony that Jedi have to put themselves through for penance, when they did something wrong, or when they're kind of caught doing a bad thing and they have to be in jail. That's kind of like the ritual they have to go through. So a lot of the things that are being explored in this series have been written. So it's part of lore out there. But of course, general audiences wouldn't know, because not a lot of people have read the comics and not a lot of people have read the books. Not a lot of people have actually spent the time to do that type of research, right? Which kind of sucks. It's like the Marvel Universe. Marvel expects you to watch everything, all the movies, all the TV shows, so that if they make one or two references in the next movie, it pays off for you, because like, oh yeah, we just discussed that in that series or in that movie, or, she said that one line. Oh, nice callback. But most people are not going to know what the hell they're talking about here, right? So there's a lot of interesting things that I do appreciate. But at the same time, I'm just wondering and asking myself, what's really happening here? What's going on? And I do hope in the next episodes, we're going to get more explanation, more reveals. I think, just like Carrie and Moss, dying in the first episode, and everyone was looking forward to this Wookiee Jedi dying here, there's going to be flashbacks. And we're going to go through a very interesting series of flashbacks where if you look at one of the teaser trailers for the show, you will see that Kalnaka, the Wookiee Jedi, is fighting somebody. And if you freeze frame it, you'll see that he's fighting Torben. Why? So there's more stuff that's going to be revealed about the events that happened on that witch planet. The Jedi are definitely involved in something, and that's all part of the mystery that's happening right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when more stuff gets revealed. What's going on, Star-Lord? Star-Lord 7 in the house. What's going on? We're talking about Star Wars, the Acolyte Episode 4. And you just missed it. This was the very first time that I had to ban 6 people from the live stream on Vertical. It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. Arnold Wentel, I found something very interesting on the internet. Arnold Wentel said, I found a cover photo of this series where a man with red eyes is in the background. Think it's the Master. Oh, what exactly happened? Who is that guy? Who is this mysterious dark presence? Who could it be? Story, what happened? Just nonsense. You know, they do that typical thing, and you're a guy who watches streams, so I'm sure you've seen it. They'll join in. They'll say, hi. Oh, cool, Star Wars. Oh, I like your hat. By the way, can I sniff your ass? Let's just say I got a lot of those this morning. Or this afternoon. Then you had very, very questionable screen names, usernames. So yeah. It's been a fun-filled morning, and I've only been streaming for an hour and 22 minutes. Starla, did you have a chance to watch episode 4? Clone Wars, if you're still around, what did you think of the episode now that you had a chance to see it? All right, Arnold, send it over. I'll take a look. I trust you. I don't think you're going to send me like a butt crack or anything. Clone Wars says it's okay. Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of people's sentiments about this episode. It's either they're going to say it's okay or they're going to hate it. You know, because honestly, nothing really happens in this episode. Nothing. It's just a lot of build-up, and then literally everything happens in the last 5 minutes. That, for someone who doesn't care about really following everything bit by bit, the thing that you would care most about is the last 5 minutes. Right? Clone Wars, not my kind of show. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. What do you think is about the show that kind of turns you off on it? Arnold saying it's German Star Wars site. Okay, I'll take a look right now. So I almost watched episode 4, but I watched 60 minutes instead. 60 minutes? Wow. What was the big topic on 60 minutes that got you hooked? That's 60 minutes. That's my impersonation of 60 minutes, everyone. We'll give you 60 minutes. Give us 60 minutes. We'll give you the world. Oh. Wow. Can't really see it too well on if I show it to you guys here. I'll see. So you can kind of see a picture with May, and then there's a set of eyes in the background. He almost looks very Palpatine-like. I wonder. So here's the biggest thing. Here's the biggest thing, and I will die laughing if this is the case. I will seriously just die laughing because you have a lot of people within the Star Wars fan base that are crapping on this show, like taking huge turds all over it, right? They're even so much so that they're going so far to go on Rotten Tomatoes to downvote it, you know, and I'm sure they're not even watching most of the episodes. What if, because I said that my speculation here is that the person that was revealed at the end of this episode, yes, may be May's master, but he's definitely working for somebody else. What if that person who could be in that photo we just saw or hinted at, what if that is Darth Plagueis? What if? And everybody who's hating on this, they've kept going on and on and on how they would love to see a show with Darth Plagueis. You gotta do Darth Plagueis. You gotta do Darth Plagueis. What if this is that show? And then they're like, what? This is how you're gonna give us Darth Plagueis? We don't want it anymore. You blew it! I think that would be so hilarious. I will just laugh. I would laugh. I'm saying I think we all have to wait until the last episode. Yeah, I think so too, because this, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that they've already picked up season 2 for this. So I think they are working on the Acolyte season 2. This first season is focusing on the twins, which I think their existence is causing a rift in the balance of the Force. I think they're going to hint on that as well. That's why that fan speculation out there about maybe they're not real twins. Maybe it's just one person and the other person doesn't exist. The guy on Screen Rant said that the another look on this could be that Osha does exist. May really died, but May's spirit is now in Osha. So the May that we see right now is a Force projection of May. Kind of like how Luke was able to Force project him in the movies. That Osha, like without her realizing or knowing, could be Force projecting May. And May doesn't really exist. Now, I don't know if I believe that, right? I don't know if I believe that one bit. But if it reveals something similar to that, then that could be kind of interesting. I don't know how people are going to react to that, but I think that it will be at least interesting. I will say that. But I do feel like their existence is causing a rift in the balance of the Force, because if you recall to the last episode last week, during the whole witch ceremony, May went through the whole thing. Osha did not. So that could be causing some sort of imbalance somehow. So I don't know. I'm not saying maybe that sounds stupid, but I could imagine Jason's all villain Star Wars universe really well. Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa could fit in Star Wars, I think. Especially as a bad guy. Started saying that his 60 Minutes, a bunch of stuff, crazy true crime stories, and the people that survive them. So we'll be watching episode 4 when he gets a chance. Okay. Hopefully we're not going to spoil anything for you, or maybe you don't mind it, as we are freely having this open discussion about this episode. So yeah, so I feel like those who are very much into conspiracies, speculations in the Star Wars universe, I think for the most part, those are the people who are really liking this show. I don't know. It's interesting to say. Clone Wars doesn't really like it so much because the overall plot doesn't appeal to him. And that's fair. And that's one of the things about this type of property. It's very much, again, I always like to refer to comic books, right? Where when you read comic books, there could be multiple series based off of characters that you like, but not every storyline is a storyline that you are interested in. You're not forced to read them all, right? If you don't care about it. So I feel like these type of properties, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, DC, you should be allowed to just watch what you like and not have to be forced to watch something that you're not interested in. It's when they start forcing you because it ties into something new, or there's such a big backstory that, oh, if you know what, if you didn't watch season 2 of Loki, you're not going to understand everything that's happening in this movie. Then that's unfortunate, because now you're forcing people to watch something that maybe they're not interested in. So I just don't like to spoil for others. Well, that's good. We try not to do that here. I also think that there is a traitor in the ranks of the Jedi. Could be. Could be. I think there's something happening with Saul, Master Saul. I think he's getting his emotions too mixed up in things. And what is it that they always say? That Jedis are supposed to be void of emotions. I think Saul is experiencing some of that. Kind of like what happened with Qui-Gon. I do feel like Qui-Gon, part of his demise was that he was getting a little bit too emotionally attached to Anakin, or the idea of Anakin and saving Anakin. That he kind of let his guard down in a way. Stolar's going to get some coffee, everybody. He is a zombie. Zombie! 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 Ha, ha, ha. It's in your head. Arnold, who do you think the traitor would be in the Jedi? Have we seen that possible traitor? You think? I think the real crux of this whole story is what happened on that planet with the witches. I think that once they reveal exactly everything that happened during that time, then we'll get to see and understand what this whole thing was trying to tell us. And I think, unfortunately, that the Jedi were responsible for a lot of that stuff. That's why you have a conflict. I think what's going to end up being revealed here is Kalnaka and Torben got into a fight because of something that happened. Torben was already heavily influenced because the witch was able to use the dark side of the Force to kind of control him. And maybe use that to do something bad. Maybe against the Jedi or whatever. That led to somehow a big fight, a big battle, right? I think Master Saul feels also very much responsible for it all. That's why he's getting so emotionally involved. I think he's going to end up dying at the end of the season. Daphne Keen's Jecki, still a Padawan, may follow in the footsteps of Osha and may leave the Jedi Order completely. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that are going to be happening. Arnold has a strange feeling about the Green Master. Oh, the woman, right? She has a name. It starts with a V, I think. Let's see. Who happens to also be, and I didn't know this, I just found this out. That actress who's playing that master is the wife or girlfriend of Leslie Headland. I just found that out. I think that's really interesting. There we go. Cast of characters here. So, Vernestra, Jedi Vernestra, played by Rebecca Henderson. So she actually has deep history in the High Republic. I think there are books about her when she was younger. She's the Jedi that we haven't seen it yet, but I think it was kind of shown in the trailer. She's a Jedi that has the lightsaber that's like a whip. And I think she had a very traumatizing experience. That's why her attitude and personality is very like there's something there. So I agree. I felt like at one point that there's something ominous about her. But yeah, it could be just because of her traumatizing experience that she went through that has changed her outlook or point of view. What are some of the things that, even though you may not have liked this episode as much, what are some of the things that really stood out to those of you who watched it? And again, quick reminder, do us a favor here, hit that like button, would greatly appreciate it. The more likes you get, the less likely we'll get morons on the stream. What did I think of this animal? This guy? I love this guy. This guy is hilarious. I haven't loved a new Star Wars creature in a very long time. But this guy is fantastic. What's his name? Basil? I love that he also has a very English name. Wait, what's up, Basil? I love that. But I think one of the things I love about him the most is that he is just, you know, a practical creature. He's someone in a suit, whether it's a little kid or a little person. It's someone in a suit. And I love it. What did you all think about this guy? This little gopher looking guy. He kind of reminds me of like the gopher that shows up in the Caddyshack movie. You know, the little puppet they use as a gopher to pop up. He does the little dance. I also love the fact that they used him kind of like a tracker. So he's kind of like a dog. So he's like, here, sniff this. And it's like, oh, you know, he doesn't really talk. He talks in like a language. But I could just picture him like, oh, I got the scent. Follow me. And he's like, yeah. And I loved how when May fell down and like saw him. And I also love, if you notice, like he's tracking without using his eyes. He put that visor on and he's literally just tracking using his nose, which is an interesting detail. But I love how he kind of freaked out when he found her, when he saw her. I didn't look at the credits as to who was that person who was playing this guy. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Warwick Davis. Hold on, let me see. Basil, the Acolyte. Oh, look at that. They're already coming out with a Funko Pop of this guy. Oh, here are some interesting facts about Basil. Basil is a Tynan tracker who assists in finding Kalnaka. A Tynan. Tynan? Tynan? Tynan. Let's see. Who? Basil the Acolyte actor. Let's see. I want to see if we could find out who the person is. The character is portrayed by Hassan Taj, who played R2-D2 in The Rise of Skywalker. and worked as a puppeteer in other Star Wars films. Look at that. That's awesome. Had no idea. Ladies and gentlemen, Star-Lord is back and better than ever.
I'm gonna come.
Glad you got your coffee. Oh, you haven't sipped it yet? Aw, man. What are you waiting for? Arnold saying such a one would have needed Obi-Wan. Then he would have known earlier that Palpatine is a Sith. Isn't it? So I think, Arnold, you may be onto something, because now that I'm thinking about it, Vernestra, she could be hiding something. I wonder if she's doing the same thing like Yoda did. So apparently, if I remember correctly, Yoda was aware that the Sith existed, but was hiding it from the Jedi Council. Right? What if Vernestra knew what was happening, or what could be potentially happening here, and is trying to hide her thoughts and feelings about it? Right? Because again, Jedi, they're kind of good at what they do, but at the same time, they're kind of dumb. They don't allow themselves to really focus and pay attention to what could be causing rifts in the Force, right? So, and that's what kind of happened in the prequels. Again, I'll never forget that room where they're discussing about, when they talked about the first appearance of Darth Maul and all this, and Mundi was like, "Oh, the Sith haven't existed in 100 years, so I don't think it's anything to worry about," or whatever, right? But Yoda, in a way, was like, "No, I think they're still around. I know that, but I don't want to let you guys know." And so what if the same thing's happening here, where she may be aware that there is a sector, a pocket, right, that exists out there that they may be basically studying or focusing on the darker side of the Force, right? Maybe her traumatized experience and what changed her is a result of that. I don't know. It'll be so weird. Oh, Arnold just ordered the Funko Pop? Nice. Nice. Star-Lord must not burn lips, must preserve them for kissing the ass of the Acolyte haters. Trigger warning. What's going on, Ados? Nice to see you back. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Ados thinks I would be successful at dubbing. So kind of like voice acting. I don't know. I don't like the sound of my voice, to be honest with you. Being completely honest, I never liked the sound of my voice. Hated it. I like recapping, though. Star-Lord knows that he loves my recaps, because I like to act them out. I had a lot of fun doing that with X-Men 97. Arnold's been thinking about collecting. Pops are easy to collect because they're not big. They're unique. They're unique enough that the one thing that attracted me to Pops before, until I realized that it was too much of an obsession and I had to stop, is that you get kind of cute figure representations of characters that you won't normally see, presented in something like that. So what I used to like to buy was characters from movies like Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, The Goonies. Like, these are things that I don't normally see represented in an action figure form or whatever, so that's the one cool thing about Pops, because Pops, they just cover the gamut. Anything pop culture related, they cover, right? Simply typing that out won't let me do it. If you really want me to do it, you should super chat. Donate through super chat and I'll do it. Go ahead. Keep spamming the chat. Ain't gonna happen. Stoller saying, look, I understand if fans hate Acolyte, but I'm not built that way. I'm so indifferent. It's sickening. Just don't care either way. That's right, Arnold. You tell them. Hit that like button. The more likes we get, the better. Instead of like coming into the chat and spamming stuff like that, just hit the like button. Spam the like button. Spam it. 60 minutes. You give us 16 minutes, we'll give you the world. More likes, more. If that was only true.
I'm gonna come.
So, and I thought I was random. So that's why I keep saying you're in good company, man. I enjoy your randomness. Because I could be very much random like you. Especially when I go off on rants. Ados, if you're still watching, I'm curious. If I were to dub something, what would you like to see me dub? Like what kind of content? Oh no, not that she has a whip lightsaber. Look, I don't kink shame. Some people may like that. I guarantee the minute that she shows up in an episode with her whip lightsaber, you're gonna have a bunch of people online going nuts over it. Just like the funniest thing I ever saw people go nuts over was when that Resident Evil game came out and that giant vampire lady was like the big thing in the trailers, and how fanboys just had crushes on her and went nuts with her. So much so that I believe someone made a prawn of it. Doesn't surprise me though. Clone Wars is back. What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Star-Lord doesn't defend Star Wars, but defends people. That's what Star-Lord does. Dum dum bum 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 bum. Clone Wars, what have I walked into? I don't know anymore. I feel like we're just being all random at this point. Oh no, that was original castle from Romania. You're talking about the last Resident Evil game? I won't be surprised if that's true. Xbox or PlayStation? I don't have a preference, to be honest with you. Honestly, the system that gets the most usage out of me is my Xbox because I use it like an entertainment system. That's how I watch YouTube. That's how I watch movies. And my PlayStation is made primarily just for gaming. So if there are any like games that are exclusive to PlayStation at the time, or if my friends are playing something online, then I will play on PlayStation. But other than that, I'm usually always on my Xbox. I like Halo. I'm currently playing Infinite for the first time with a friend of mine doing co-op. It's cool. It's nice to be back in the Halo universe, but I haven't played Halo in a very long time. What's going on, aggressive? I'm gonna call you aggressive. Search Star Wars and now I'm here. What do y'all think a person in the helmet is? Great question. I think my speculation is that it's Kimir. Is that how you pronounce his name? Kimir? Quimir? The guy that is the companion of May? I think that this episode, honestly, gave us a lot of hints that he may be the guy in the helmet. I also do think that he may not be the main bad guy. I do feel like he works for another one. And then maybe by the end of this season, we're going to get a revelation about all of that. But I have a strong feeling it's Kimir. Someone already told me in comments I have a corporate way of looking at things. Corporate way? What does that mean, Star-Lord? What about you, aggressive? What do you think? Let us know your let us know what did you think of this episode, and what do you think of the season so far? Because we're at the halfway mark. 4 more episodes to go. Clone Wars favorite Halo game? I have fond memories of Halo 2. The reason why I have such fond memories of Halo 2 is because me and a bunch of friends went to Times Square here in New York for the midnight launch. There used to be a big Toys R Us in Times Square. So we went there for midnight launch and we got the game. And this was also around the same time I was working in the game industry. So what did we do? We went back to the office. We had our Xboxes set up. And right there, we all opened up our copies, put it into our separate Xboxes, and we had separate TVs. And we played multiplayer immediately. There was like 4 or 5 of us. And we were in the office for like 3-4 hours straight afterwards. And it was a lot of fun. We had such a blast. And we played through the story. I loved it. So I will always say Halo 2 is probably my favorite out of everything. Arnold saying if there's one thing we learned, Star Wars, everything is possible. That's true. What's going on, Jester? Nice to see you back. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for commenting. If you had a chance to watch episode 4 of The Acolyte, let us know your thoughts about it. What about you, Clones? Do you ever play Halo? If so, what's your favorite? Soulard, exactly. What the fuck does that mean? I'm a shill? Shill? I don't see you as a shill. I feel like you don't really have any major allegiances to any property. So that's not being a shill. Aggressive, I hope he is the guy in the helmet. That dude is hilarious in the show, The Good Place. You know, I've never seen that, but I've heard people say that too, where he makes all these jokes about living in Florida and being dumb. I relate to that. Really? Do you live in Florida, aggressive? Oh, Jester's also in the horizontal stream. Love it. Love it. For those of you who don't know, I have 2 streams going on at the same time. I have the traditional horizontal stream, and for those who prefer vertical phone format, I'm doing that as well. So I provide options for everybody. Clone Wars says Halo 3 or Reach is his favorite Halo. Awesome. What is it about those games that you like the most? Start saying they don't know that people would assume I'm a spy for a major property. I guess I could kind of see what they mean, what you mean by that. I could see someone maybe mistaking you as like a secret shopper. Aggressive is in Georgia, but was born in Florida. Okay. We have a lot of people in the South here. I love it. I love it. So aggressive, what are your thoughts on the series so far? Are you enjoying it? Are you not? Are you kind of like, eh? Perhaps it's how they look at things. Could be. Gesture, so did they add a new force power in this episode too? What are you referring to? Because I think what a lot of people were saying so far in the comments was that they felt that this guy who shows up at the end of the episode, this mystery Dark Jedi or Sith, is way too overpowered. Which is, hey, possible. But I also do feel like maybe The Jedi are not taking things a little bit too seriously at the moment. Aggressive used to go hard in Halo. Reach is probably my favorite too. I'm ready. Are you? Reach was fun. I will say Reach was fun. The Force they added in the last few episodes. Oh, you mean like the birthing of the Force children? I hope they explain that more. I really do. Because I would really like to understand or have them reveal that even though Anakin was the chosen one, right, birthed from the Force, that these twins were done in a different way. Because I do feel like the twins were birthed not only just by the Force, but from witch magic, maybe from the Dark Sisters of Dathomir. Yeah, there's some, and maybe that's considered to be taboo. That's why there's a big rift in the balance right now. And I think my speculation is that the existence of the sisters is causing a major rift in the balance of the Force. So who knows? Maybe by the end of this season, they both may go. I don't know. And that could be like the big challenging moment, is learning and understand that they may have to get rid of these two twins. Clone Wars ODST is just my favorite kind of trooper in Halo. And Reach just had an amazing plot with the irony at the end was awesome. I can't disagree with you. I think, by the time I got to Reach, that was like peak Halo for me. And then afterwards, I kind of just left. So that's why now I'm just currently revisiting Infinite. Because, it's just nice to be back in that world after a long break. Aggressive saying, as far as this new show, I've never seen a bad Star Wars, and everyone who tells me they have always has an opinion on the next one. That's the fan base, right? That's the fan base. At the end of the day, you like what you like, you don't like what you don't like. And that's it. It doesn't have to be for everybody. You gave it a shot. If you like it, awesome. If you didn't, oh well. There's going to be something new. Right? Hopefully you'll like that one. I've been very open about my thoughts on Star Wars. I am, no matter what, will always be a major Star Wars fan. I grew up with it. It's part of my day. It's part of my life. And I will always love it. But there are stuff I've seen that I don't like. And I'll talk about it. And then that's it. Move on. Clone Wars, you have an amazing day yourself. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and joining in the conversation. Hopefully get to see you again next time. Arnold saying they reflect the yin and the yang. Yeah, that's a very common that's a common thing that people are saying about the sisters in this series, that they do represent the good and the bad, and their existence together is either hurtful or could be beneficial in the long run. But I think it's more hurtful in this case. It can be bad or good. It doesn't hide the fan base that is bad or good. Well, I also do think it's so much easier for people to be so toxic because of the internet. I also do feel like there are people who love just poking the bear. They love to just hate on stuff just because they know it's going to cause controversy. Kind of like the chat earlier this morning. We had some people go in there and, they love poking the bear. Arnold saying they both have to sit down and eat a cheesesteak sandwich. That's right. I think at the end of the day, hopefully at the end of the season, very much like what they did at the end of Avengers, May and Osha should just sit down, have a shawarma, or have a cheesesteak sandwich, hash things out, and just chill. Everyone is invited too. Aggressive, I've consumed too much Star Wars to be like this one broke it for me because I lived through Christmas. Oh, the Christmas special. Yeah. Chewbacca getting killed by the moon. Oh, you're bringing back a lot of memories. You ain't going to surprise me. Yeah. Well, everything is at the end of the day subjective, for sure. So I'm not reading any of the High Republic books. That's why I'm finding this series to be interesting to me because I went into it not knowing much about the High Republic. This after this episode, this was the first time I actually did additional research. So I learned a little bit of stuff from the High Republic and from the Darth Vader comic that it looks like they're pulling a lot of content from. So yeah, but other than that, I've never read the books. What about you, Aggressive? Have you been keeping up with all the High Republic stuff? And by the way, to go back to your original comment too, the other comment about the Christmas special, Chewbacca getting killed by the moon. Remember, there was a period of time where we had no other new Star Wars. And when the Timothy Zahn book came out, that's all we had as a follow-up. And we ate it up and we loved it. Yeah, it was kind of weird. They killed Chewbacca with a giant moon. You had the Jedi twins, Mara Jade coming out of nowhere. You know, I love that stuff because that's all we had. Now I feel like we just have so much Star Wars that you're not going to end up liking everything, right? And I think, I honestly, I think the current generation of fans may be a little spoiled, maybe, in a way. But just like anything, you just have to be open-minded about things. Ados, I think you could dub something like Deadpool would be good, or a character along the same lines of sarcastic humor. Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that and thinking that. Still, at the end of the day, I don't like the sound of my voice, but, you know. I do it here for the YouTube channel. Do you think the mask also has function or purely in terms of appearance? So it is interesting how the mask kind of has like a row of teeth. I don't know if that's going to be functional to be used something in a way, or is that just for aesthetics? Kind of similar to like the old samurai masks back in the day. You know how they had faces on them. Maybe this is taken from that same type of culture where kind of create this very mean looking face on a mask, because it's welded in the same similar way like Kylo Ren, how he kind of rebuilt his own mask. So I wonder if it's just remnants that this person had from a time, welded a mask, put a little like funky looking smile on it, and use it more for like intimidation purposes. I don't know. I want Star Wars made the way I want it made, just like anything else I would want my way, but I can't get it my own way. Well, it's not everything can be Burger King, right? Even Burger King won't let you have it your way all the time. Greg says, yeah, this High Republic story has been real good so far. So like 700 years. Before this, there was a group called the Path of the Open Hand who called their leader Mother. Is that another group of witches? Jester wants George Lucas back. The real question is, does George Lucas want to come back? George, what do you think? George, do you want to come back to Star Wars? No, fuck that shit. I'm so tired of Star Wars. You know, the fan base is crazy. Everyone are two-faced. I sold it to Disney for a reason, because I just can't do it anymore. I just can't. You know, I made the prequels. Everyone hated it. Now everyone loves it. You know, what a bunch of hypocrites. Everyone sucks. Fuck it. Sorry, George. I had no idea. Well, there you go. I think George doesn't want to come back. Yeah, it's not Burger King, mofos. The question is if Disney wants George Lucas. I'm sure Disney, the company, wouldn't want him back. I bet you Dave Filoni would. I would guarantee you that Dave Filoni would do anything to work with George Lucas again. Arnold saying because for the first time she was on the island, she also had the mask, and I thought to myself, why did she wear the mask even though the two are alone? Oh, good call. I never even thought of that. Aggressive 200 years after that, it was morphed into a group of space pirates called the Nihil, who terrorized the galaxy. We don't see how the story ends yet, but 100 years after that, we see the show. So I think the big picture is what they're trying to tell is some Sith Lord over a couple of 100 years brought the Jedi from being friendly with the Force users to policing them. Sith Lord, a couple hundred, brought the Jedi from being friendly with other Force users to police them. Huh. So your speculation is that there are just, we're going to find out that there are like multiple factions, right? And the reason why the current Jedi that we see now that's working with the Galactic Republic is trying to police the universe from all these multiple factions. I'm wondering if that's what you're hinting at, or maybe I'm not reading it correctly. George Lucas should be a character in Star Wars, make him a Jedi. Fuck yeah, I'll be an awesome Jedi. You can call me Darth Moneybags. Darth Moneybags, yeah, call me Darth Moneybags because I got a lot of money. Do it. Jester, I saw the trailer of the Acolyte and saw Sith fighting a Jedi who has a lightsaber with knives, and I said, I ain't dealing with this shit. Oh, man. Then I can only imagine what could be in store for you in this series. Seems like George is having his cake and eating it too. Dude got the money, got the Filoni in charge and is on every set. Yeah, I'm telling you, like Filoni loves consulting with George because he learned from George. You know? But if on a professional level, I guarantee you Filoni will do anything to have George Lucas come back and work with him. Or she doesn't know who's under the mask. Well, May made it very clear several times already at this point that she doesn't know who her master is. Never even seen his face, right? And that in itself is strange. That she would be following orders from someone she doesn't really know. So there has to be a reason behind all that too. That's why there's also, again, I love to bring back the whole crazy fan theory about maybe May doesn't really exist. And then maybe she is like a force projection of Osha. And Osha doesn't realize that it's happening. In the end, it's just her mother. I feel like that that one of the moms is definitely still alive. The alien one, like the female Darth Maul. I feel like she's still around because we never saw her body, her dead body. Maybe she's like the overall master. Who knows? Darth Lucas. She's basically a stormtrooper. Yeah, she's a clone. She's just a replicant. If we were to talk in Blade Runner terms. Please let her deliver the line, "I am your mother." That would be fantastic. Could you imagine? Like one of the lines, like when it's revealed that the coral mother is still alive, she like takes off the hood. It's like, "Osha, don't you remember me? I am your mother." I wonder if at that point everyone would be like, "Starlord, what's your idea of a Star Wars horror movie? Let us hear it." I'm also curious because you haven't seen this episode yet. There is a very horror-like moment in this episode that I do think they did very well. She's taking orders from someone who she's never seen their face and who's also wearing a helmet. That's why I also feel like it's the Khmer guy. Because Khmer is being more of that visual representation of the master and kind of helping lead May down the right path or testing her loyalty, always reminding her, you know. It would make sense in a way. If it's not that, then it'll be interesting to see how they explain it all. Or you know that SNL skit where the mom screams at her son, "I am your mother." That's a good one. Star-Lord's idea is like a slasher movie with a lightsaber that a killer found. Interesting. So, taking place in the Star Wars universe, someone comes across a random lightsaber. Maybe they're on Tatooine, and maybe they were in the desert, and they dug up one of the lightsabers that Obi-Wan buried from the show. Like, "Oh, what's this? Oh, cool. I wonder if I could get some money on this." And he can't sell it, but instead has these evil tendencies. And he's going around killing people with that found lightsaber. Maybe. Maybe. I'm saying, hope I do a live stream for the House of Dragon episodes. So, since House of the Dragon comes out on Sundays, my Monday streams, I will be discussing the latest House of the Dragon episode. So yeah. So if you're interested in talking about House of the Dragon, we could do it on the Monday stream. Man, people are also hating on that show too, and it just came out. We only had one episode, and people are already bitching about it. It's crazy. Jester, did I see the trailer for the new Quiet Place game? I have. It actually looks very interesting. I kind of like it. What did you think about it? The guy doesn't talk, he just kills. Oh. Oh, really? So he's a silent killer. So we don't really understand or know what his motivation is. The movie is going to be called The Dark Side. Actually, let's look at the trailer right now. I actually have it up. I'll take down this spoiler tag because I think we're pretty much done talking about this episode, and then we could like spend the last few minutes of the stream just talking about random stuff. So let's see. Let me pull this up. All right, stop. Nope. All right, sorry guys, hold on. Give me a second. Here we go. It would be sick if you had to play with your mic on, so not even while playing the game you can talk. Oh, so basically like give it like voice commands? Is that what you're talking about? What's going on, Chris? Oh, yeah. Total random talk time. But before we do that, or before you're allowed to talk randomly, did you watch the latest episode of Acolyte? And if so, what did you think? All right, so this is the teaser trailer for that new Quiet Place game. So basically, think of it as like a pure stealth-like game. Because if you obviously, if you understand how the Quiet Place is, you have to be extremely quiet, or else those things are gonna get you. Oh, look at that. See? You don't want to be at the end of that. Oh, and you also suffer from, what is that? Asthma or anxiety that you have to calm yourself down? Oh, come on. Give me more of that. See, and you have your little meter, noise meter. Which is kind of, it reminds me of like that scene in the first Mission Impossible movie. Uh-oh, you just messed up. And there you go. That is a tease. I love it. I would play this in a heartbeat. Because I love the universe already as is. Like the Quiet Place universe. I love the concept. I just think that a game like that where you have to be purely stealth and silent would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right, Chris, about to watch, hanging out with my newly hatched button quail. Congratulations on the birth of your new quail. Star Wars horror movie will have no Jedi fighting or space-themed epic battles. It'll just be purely horror. Gestures, yeah, so if you talk while being close to the monster finds you and tries to kill you. John Krasinski can do anything: action, comedy, drama, romance, and horror. My goodness. It's amazing how Jim from The Office is this creative, right? Like, I love what he's done with The Quiet Place. I haven't seen If yet. I'm planning to watch it this week because it's on demand now. But he's becoming like an amazing director. And I love the creativity of his mind. Star-Lord, then later it can expand into other stories across the galaxy. So I think you should get to writing and hash that out, because that would be amazing. And to Jester's point, I love it when games allow you to be very interactive and immersive, and they add special things. So we all know the current generation of games, especially on the PlayStation 5, you have the mic on your controller, right? What if it forces you as the game player to also be quiet, and you can't make noise while you're playing the game? Because the mic will pick up the noise from your voice or from your surroundings, and that causes things to happen in the game as well. And the aliens can find you and try to hunt you down. That would be brilliant. I would love that. That would be amazing. Amazing. Hey, what's going on, Death? Is that how you pronounce your screen name? Or I'll just call you D. But nice to see you. It's been a while. Arnold, I really like the game when my mother sleeps and I want to go to the kitchen. Wait, what? What game is that? Jester's gotta leave to cut the grass. Jester, have a wonderful time. Well, I don't know. Have a wonderful time cutting the grass. Or I hope it goes smoothly. And I hope it doesn't cause too much of a headache. But always appreciate you hanging out with us, man. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Starlord just wants a new Friday the 13th movie. Well, I do like your concept. I really do. There was a PC game I think I saw on YouTube, sort of like Blair Witch game. Well, the Blair Witch, just like the Blair Witch game? I mean, there's a lot of games kind of like that concept, right? Where you have to like sneak around and not get found. Have a good day, Jester. Everyone, wish Jester a wonderful day. Hope to see you soon. Arnold plays a quiet game in real life when you're sneaking around the house, going to the kitchen to eat food. Chris, you have to be quiet on the mic and weird stuff pop up in the woods while finding 5 bodies. Oh, that's interesting. So that game forces you to have the mic on? Like, what if you turn it off? I have heard of Roblox. I don't play it. It's not my cup of tea, but I have heard of it. I know it's very popular. Imagine how many different ways a lightsaber can murder someone. Yeah, one can be quite creative with a lightsaber if they choose to be. That is very true. We need a Star Wars Scream Queen. Well, I think we have one already, Star-Lord. And when you watch episode 4, you'll see who that Scream Queen is. We have a brand new Star Wars Scream Queen, and I'm not even joking. Not even joking. So I can't wait for you to watch that episode so you can know exactly what I'm talking about. Do you know the forbidden martial arts of lightsaber fighting? No, I'm not sure what you're referring to. D has to go. Have a wonderful time yourself. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. Again, for those of you who are new to the stream, make sure hit that like button, por favor, please. It'll put a smile on my face. The movie would hit all the right marks. I'm not disagreeing with you. I like the idea. I like the concept. That's why I think you should write it. By the way, where's our Total Recall game? Star-Lord. I think you have one more week to go. Don't think I have forgotten. Of course, I'm just giving you a hard time. Chris saying the game's called In Silence. Silence of the Lambs. Let me see. Let me look it up. No, it's always 2 weeks. All right. Fair enough. In Silence. Here we go. In Silence is a multiplayer horror game. One player takes on the role of the monster who has hypersensitive hearing abilities and is almost completely blind. Other players play as survivors trying to escape or hunting the monsters. So it's as I thought. It's very much like all of these other games. It's like Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Death by Daylight, where one person plays the bad guy or the bad monster or whatever, and you have the other people there who are hunting you down or trying to escape. I guess the only difference here is that sound actually matters. But sound matters too, I think, because it's a multiplayer game, so there's always one person who's playing the bad guy who can hear if you're talking. So I guess it's pretty much the same premise, just done in its own unique way. So that's kind of cool. You know, but the thing that looks different about this Quiet Place game is that it's a single player game. And it looks to me like sound is a very important aspect of the game. So the AI itself is attuned to that. So that's why I think it would be kind of cool if it forces your controller mic to stay on the whole time, so that whenever it picks up some sort of noise, it reacts to that. So I think that would be kind of neat. Arnold, if you turn him off, battle shortly before contact and turn on in position to kill your opponent. Oh, I see what you mean. So, like, while you're in battle, you turn it off, or maybe it's already off, and right when you're about to strike, that's when you turn it on. So it kind of like, right? What do I like more, Star Wars horror movie or The Knight Rider? That's a tough one. It's like choosing between two of your kids. I will go with the Star Wars horror movie because it's unique and different, very different. Because right now, at least what they're trying to do with current Star Wars is they're creating genre type of content, right? This one is like mystery thriller. Andor was, I guess, in a way, almost like a political drama, right? You had like heisty things, you have all those things. So, what if they really did a horror based Star Wars type of show or movie? I think that would be interesting. Skeleton Crew that's coming out is supposed to be like a Goonies like series. So it's lighthearted, I think, but adventure filled. So yeah, I could see the Star Wars horror movie being more of a possibility, especially if you use, let's say, the Underground, or if you use the early beginnings of the Sith. I'm sure there's like, you know, very horrific ways you could tell that type of story. And plus, I guarantee you'll probably have more people very much interested in that, because no matter what, the horror community loves horror stuff. Arnold, have you seen the new shooter Unrecorded? Yes. Oh man, I already have it wish listed on my Steam. But there's another game that just came out called Body Cam, which is the same thing. It's the same premise. I don't know if you've seen that. Body Cam uses the Unreal Engine assets to make it look like real, like body cam footage as you're going through like a multiplayer map. And it looks freaking fantastic. And it's already available now to play. Here, you can kind of see. It looks very photorealistic. And it looks like so much fun. And, you know, I was talking to a friend of mine who still works in the game industry. And he's the one that told me, like, all of these assets exist in the Unreal Engine right now. And the only thing that they're not good at the moment is making faces. So they did a clever thing here, is that since you're kind of like troops, you either wear a helmet or they blur your face to account for that. XQC, that freaking moron. But this thing looks amazing. I'm hoping that I can maybe stream this one day, because that would be a lot of fun to play. The classrooms? What are you talking about, Chris? Do you think it's going too far? Um, you mean as far as like realism in the game? Look, I like the innovation. I personally think it's a kind of an achievement. It looks like it will be a lot of fun. As far as going too far as far as realism is concerned, I mean, I think it's inevitable. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get to the point where the games that we find ourselves immersed in are gonna look closer and closer to in real life. So I don't have problems with it, but if I was an advocate for anti-violence and all that, I probably will not be happy with this. Yeah. And if this thing ends up blowing up and becoming very popular, you're going to start seeing people going against a game like this, for sure. So I was saying it eliminates the lore completely, telling personal stories of horrific experiences, untold stories in the same universe. Who would direct it? You have to pick a horror director. See, now that's something I would love to see Jordan Peele do. I think Jordan Peele would be a perfect fit for that. Chris saying another horror game with mic enabled. The Classrooms? That's what it's called, The Classrooms? The Classrooms. Classrooms is a procedural liminal space found footage survival horror game. Explore the classrooms and discover the various anomalies it contains, from malicious entities to harmless oddities. And remember, it's different every time you play, so your found footage is uniquely yours. Okay. So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure type of horror game. But I don't see anything about it like requiring your mic or having that as the selling point of the game. You know what I mean? Like the selling point of the Quiet Place game to me is you gotta stay quiet or else you're fucked. And what it would have been a cooler added bonus to that is that, and you yourself has to stay quiet because guess what? Your mic is going to be constantly on during the whole time. Well, it says, I see the same way if I would have children, but I would rather let them play Call of Duty instead of the game. I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Something like Call of Duty, at least it feels a little bit more fictional, right? A little bit more arcadey. Unlike a game like this, where it looks a little bit like, more than likely a situation like that is happening in another country somewhere. So I was saying Jordan Peele would be perfect, but the Darksider has to be a big guy like Jason or Michael. So they have to be like brute, like a brute size kind of guy. Brute force. A strapping young brute. Chris can't remember the game. It's okay. I bet you what's going to happen is that you're going to remember it tonight or tomorrow. And you're like, oh, that's the name of it. Enough to be force choking the hell out of you. Force choking the hell out of me?
I'm gonna come.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't contain my excitement. What percentage of the dark side is me? If I were to guess, my dark side percentage would probably be 30%. I am not an angel. And I will at times dabble on the dark side from time to time. But that percent can change depending on the situation. What about you, Arnold? You cheeky bastard.
I'm gonna come.
You blew it!
Sure did. Oh, my ears. Help me. I think I just sharted. What's everyone doing for the rest of the week? Anyone watching any cool movies this week? Arnold saying that if he looked in his pants, he would say 50% dark side. No joke. I was at a comedy club once in Miami. And one of the comics that went up on stage was someone that I knew. Not personally, but I've seen her do comedy before. And I always thought she was funny. She's also kind of cute. So I was like, wow, that's awesome. And I had a table literally like to the left side of the stage. So of course I'm in the view. So I'm ready to get picked on. I was there with my friends who live in Miami, and they're all white women, and I'm the only kind of ethnic guy, right? So of course immediately her gaze goes to our table, and she's like, "Oh, look at this, very typical Miami kind of table here. You have the one ethnic guy with a bunch of white girls, right?" And she's like, "What is your ethnicity?" And I said, "Well, I'm part Asian, part Spanish." And she's like, "Oh, really? Like, what part is which?" And I said, I said, "The bottom half is Spanish, of course." And she's like, "Are you sure about that?" "I don't know. I've been with some Asian guys, and when it comes to things down there, it's not always that good." And I was like, and I said, "You have to understand, it's sweet and sour." And she lost it. It was the first time that I've seen that I was able to make a comic laugh on stage. And what happened afterwards was they did like a meet and greet in the lobby, and she like went right up to me and gave me a high five, like, "Dude, you're funny." Like, that was great. And then I told her, it's like, "I know you, like, I've seen you do stuff in New York," and she was on Howard Stern at one point. And I was like, and she's like, "Yeah, blah, blah," and we took pictures and all, and yeah. And then what was also good was that all the other comics also went up to me and said, "Man, you're funny, man. You're like the perfect audience." I'm like, well, we're all here to have fun, right? So, what's up, Radu? Barkside. Barkside of the Force. Start. I'm done now. Oh, because you're late to the live stream, you had to do random Star Wars talk? Well, it's on par. It's on brand. It's on brand. So yeah, so what I tell everybody is that, with my ethnicity split, depending on the day, you could get some sweet, but you could also get some sour.
Yeah!
I'm gonna come.
Oh my God, my ass. Oh, that was a big one. Oh, I think I have a hole in my pants now. Help me. Chris will not let this game go. He is determined to find out the name of the game, and he thinks he found it. Here we go. It's called Silent Breath. Unpredictable horrors lurk around every corner, forcing you to find the missing people while desperately clinging to survival. In this experience, even your own mind can become your enemy. Stay vigilant, keep your voice hushed, or risk becoming another victim of the forest's darkness. It's interesting. I like it. Definitely does. It gives you the point of view of like you using a video camera. I kind of like that. That's kind of neat. So this actually forces your mic to stay on. Because what if you turn it off? I feel like when you play this on a PC, it's so easy for us to control our devices. So I could literally just like turn off my mic and I'm like, haha, you can't hear me. It looks interesting. It's early access too. A lot of these indie developers do this now. They do early access so that they can claim that it's not finished yet, but if you like it enough, you could still support them by buying it and playing it. So good for them. It does look kind of freaky. Like, what is that creature? Ooh. Starlord made a horror tribute last night. What does that mean? What kind of tribute did you make? Was it in the bathroom? I wonder if Star Wars would make a good exorcist. Arnold asking if I'm live again this week. I am. I'll be live again on Friday. I'm planning to watch 2 movies this week in the theaters, 2 new movies, Bike Riders and a movie called Thelma. And I'll be talking about those 2 movies on my stream on Friday. And if I have time, one of the movies that is on my list is I Saw the TV Glow. So that's available on streaming now. So maybe I'll have a chance to talk about that. Fridays are usually like movie review days. So that's usually what I'm going to do on Friday. So if you're interested in joining that type of conversation, definitely come back on Friday. Star Wars edit. Oh, you edited a horror tribute. Nice. Was it for your own channel or was it for somebody else? That's what I thought you meant. I thought everybody, I thought Starler was alluding to the fact that he made a horror tribute on the toilet. like, ah! Oh, this is my tribute to the current state of horror. Bow down bow down. Oh, also, I should say this now. Monday, the 24th is Midsommar. So on Monday's stream, I will be talking about one of my favorite horror movies of all time, A24's Midsommar. So that will be fun. Arnold, oh, that's very nice of you to say, Arnold. Really totally appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to be leaving like in 5 minutes. I didn't realize it was already 3:14. This guy has to go and do some grocery shopping. So let me know any last things you'd love to talk about before I head on out for the rest of the day. And again, thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in. Maybe not so much thank you to some of the kind of interesting folks that we got earlier in the stream, but it led to some good comedy, I think, when it's all said and done. So like, Midsommar? Has everyone here watched Midsommar? Sorry, that's the American way to say it. I like to say Midsommar. Has everyone here watched that movie? No, they are gross. Who's gross? The A24 movies or that movie? Oh, don't they, oh, you're talking about those other people. Yeah, they should not be on chats. No. I totally agree. But as we found out, in 2 days, we're going to be having a full moon. So I have a feeling they're all slowly kind of creeping out from the crevices. Arnold, again with the super chat. Thank you so much, Arnold. I so much appreciate that. Saying, I'm gone now to wish you a nice evening, brother. Dude, have a wonderful evening yourself. You don't know how much I appreciate you being here. How much I appreciate you supporting the channel. Really, thank you. From the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you. Also, I'm surprised I'm not... Guys, are you seeing any kind of alert pop up whenever that happens? Because I have it set up for it to do that, but I don't hear anything, and I don't see anything. Usually I have it show up, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing it. Star saying they went on a priest live stream spamming racist things. Is that true? Did that really happen? People need better things to do with their time, man. They really do. Yeah, it's just wrong. Yeah, it's like, why be a fool somewhere else, man? You know, like there's so many ways you could be a fool. Like, don't do stupid things like that. Like, what do you get out of it? It's funny. I guess the equivalent of what we used to do when I was kids, like you would do prank calls, right? And I get it. It's funny at the time, but come on, be respectful. And the dude's a priest. I mean, come on. Don't do that. I can understand like a random dude like me here, act like a fool and all that stuff. But I think people should better use of their time doing other things. So silly. The priest is also big on Star Wars content and pop culture movie topics like me? Are you trolling? Is that for real? If so, that's a great angle. A priest that's also big into Star Wars. Father Roderick. I may have to look this guy up. He's great. Okay. Let's see. Let's look up Father Roderick. Sorry. If I could speak. Oh yeah, look at him. He's talking about the Acolyte. It looks like he did kind of like a clapback video too. The title is Why I'm an Evil Priest, according to some. Wait a minute. This guy has multiple channels. He builds Legos. Oh my God. This guy is fantastic. Wow. I'm going to show my screen real quick. Father Roderick has a channel where he builds Legos. This is freaking fantastic. And then he has his regular called Story Tours. And then he has a channel, his regular channel. And then he has a documentaries channel. This guy has multiple channels. When does he have time to be a priest? Man, that's kind of neat. I kind of like the gimmick. I mean, it's unfair for me to call it a gimmick, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I love the fact that this is a legit priest that just happens to be a geek, which is fantastic. Seems like a nice dude too. Wait a minute, he went to Star Wars Celebration in Europe? Wow. If he ends up going to Celebration in Japan when I'm there, I'm going to try to look for him. And I'm going to try to say hi to him. Cuz he seems like a cool dude. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Star-Lord. That's pretty neat. Father Roderick. That's amazing. Each time I think I've seen it all on YouTube, I have not. And it's nice to see something new like that, which is fascinating. Man. All right, y'all. I think now is a good time for me to head out. Like I said, I got to go run and do some chores. Again, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in, hanging out, chatting about Star Wars, and also random stuff. Really, really appreciate it. Again, I'll be back next week with episode 5, our discussion there. I'll be back live on stream this Friday, talking about movies that I'm going to plan to watch this week. The Bike Riders, Thelma, and like I said, if I have a chance, as the TV glows or something, whatever it's called. Hope to see you then. If not, I hope I get to see you some other time. But may the Force be with you. Have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. Big shout outs again to Star-Lord, Jester, Aggressive, Suck that was here earlier, Arnold, Chris, Radu. Who else we got here? Clone Wars for Life, D, Tommy. What else? I hope I'm not forgetting anyone else, but a lot of great people showing up this morning. Really, really, truly appreciate it. Appreciate all of you, as always. So, until next time, stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. Peace out, y'all. Bye-bye.